These figurines remind me of a case I once solved involving a possessed doll. Turned out to be a bit of a smokescreen, as these things often do.
Your life sounds fun. Grimoire, why don't we ever have fun adventures like that?
Are we not having a fun adventure right at this very moment?
What is that?
I'm not sure. It looks like it attaches to something else.
Why don't you go back and double-check the area you found it? Maybe you'll find the rest of the something else.
I'm not so sure about that.
Elle nous aide pas, vraiment, elle ne nous aide
I
absolument
admit,
pas.
it's powerful. Freya was a talented young
Donc
woman.
elle recherche le scarabée, ça fait 2 semaines et elle a rien trouvé.
Now, we
C'est
don't know
incroyable.
why they took the photograph, do we? Perhaps they just wanted it for reference.
C'était... Je crois que c'était Fifi qui nous avait dit tout à l'heure qu'elle avait reconnu le sang, enfin qu'elle avait analysé le sang sur l'œuvre. Mais ça veut dire que le sang est encore dans les petites fioles. Si je lui montre les fioles.
Fifi, did you test the red paint in this pot?
Yes, I did. I discovered it too was blood, not paint.
A whole pot full of blood?
Not a whole pot. It is only partially full.
Yeah, but still. Doesn't that freak you out?
No. In fact, it may be considered rather reassuring. The red paint on the brush is not paint. It is blood. Same for the palette.
So Freya added the blood to the painting herself?
Or blood got on the brush and palette some other way?
I do not know the answer. A wooden carving of my father, made by my
On va
father.
tester les pots de peinture.
Although, now that I look at it, I do not understand how he was able to paint the red parts without
Ah,
any
mais
red
bonne
paint.
remarque ça aussi.
It is a model of Freya, made by my father.
A model of Flora, you mean?
And a man with a beard. And a little red and white creature.
Why would my father make a model of Freya?
Pourquoi il créerait un modèle de Freya? Putain, mais c'est une bonne remarque aussi ça.
There's something about Felix's painting supplies.
Ah, c'est ça qui déverrouille.
Something.
Let's ask him about it.
Oh, ça m'intéresse. Je vais aller voir. Félix, donne-nous toutes ces indications. C'est ton tour.
So, about this paint we found in your room.
Nothing suspicious about it. I used it to paint, obviously. Totally normal thing to do.
We never said it was suspicious.
Come on then, out with it. What exactly are you accusing me of?
Ah non. C'est pas le bon couvercle, je sais pas. C'est pas votre pot de peinture. Possible.
It's not your paint pot. Did you take it from somewhere else?
What on earth? It's definitely mine. I even have proof. Look, the lid matches the ones on all my other paint pots. End of discussion.
That's not the end of the discussion.
We need a clue to compare with Felix's red paint.
Oh, c'est
Something
bon.
to prove who it
Ah, j'ai
actually
compris, j'ai vu
belongs
les
to.
étiquettes. Je viens de le voir. Je viens de le voir. Vous voyez les étiquettes de... Vous voyez ces étiquettes là? Bon, alors je sais pas si vous le voyez, mais regardez les étiquettes, il y a un petit... comment ça s'appelle? Un petit mot dessus. Et là, il y a un petit éclair. Alors que là, c'est que des petits éclairs sauf le mot. Ah, je l'avais pas vu, c'est génial.
We need a clue that's got some connection to this one. Let's take a closer look at this.
mais les couvercles ont été changés.
Freya's blue paint pot
Ah, c'est pas
is
ça.
exactly the same as Felix's red paint pot, but the lids were swapped to hide it. Nope.
C'est pas du tout ça, parce qu'il a pas dit juste un. Le pot de peinture de fait a été volé et remplacé avec le pot de peinture. Non.
Freya's red paint
Non, c'est
pot
pas ça non
is
plus.
full of
Je trouve pas.
Felix's red paint pot, but the lids were swapped to hide it. Almost. Maybe just change one thing. Freya's red paint pot was stolen and
Ok, c'est
replaced
celui-là
with
qui fait modifier.
Felix's red paint pot, but the lids were swapped to hide it.
That red paint is from Freya's supplies, not yours. Swapping the lids doesn't hide what you did.
Why are you bothering me about paint anyway? And none of this is connected to your
Quel
murder.
enfoiré. Je sais pas pourquoi il a fait ça. Ce pot de peinture rouge ne contenait pas du sang avant que Freya ne l'utilise pour peindre Flora.
This red paint pot contained no blood before Freya used it to paint Flora. Almost. Maybe
changer
just
un
change
élément.
one thing. This red paint pot was
Était
somehow
rempli avec
filled
du
with
sang.
blood before Freya used it to paint Flora.
Avant que Freya ne l'utilise pour
That,
peindre Flora.
that's definitely something. Right. Fine. Here's the story.
Oui, explique-toi,
I was
explique-toi.
busy working on a project when I suddenly realized I had run out of red paint. There was a certain amount of time pressure, so I politely asked Freya if I could borrow hers. Just for a little while, you know. Perfectly reasonable request.
But she said no.
I tried to explain why I needed it, but she didn't seem to care. So, well, I took Freya's red paint pot and swapped it with my own empty one.
You went into her room?
Not my proudest moment, but it's just paint. I didn't touch anything else.
And the paint pot you left behind was definitely empty?
Quite. I have absolutely no idea how it got blood in it, if that's what you're asking.
Why were you in such a hurry to get a hold of red paint anyway?
I was trying to finish this in time for Flora's birthday. I needed red to paint the final details.
Could you not have just used a different color?
Out of the question. It had to be red and white.
If you managed to finish it, why haven't you given it to Flora yet?
Well, I decided against it in the end. After what happened, seemed a bit
Ouais, c'est sûr,
insensitive.
Freya est morte et il y avait une sculpture en forme de Freya. Oh,
Let's go over what we know about the crime scene.
oh, trop bien une réflexion. La scène de
We know a
crime.
little more about the crime scene now. So, what do you think? Was Freya stabbed by her own painting?
Non. Le sang dans le pot de peinture a été utilisé pour peindre le bout rouge de la plume du potoir ou peinte. Pourquoi que la magie est réelle? Pas ça. Peindre dessus la plume du bouton. Cacher une preuve?
Blood from the paint
Non,
pot
c'est pas ça.
was used to paint over the painted ink dip feather to hide the evidence. Nope. Blood from the paint pot was used to paint the red tip of the painted ink dip feather to hide the evidence. Almost. Maybe just change. Blood from the paint pot was used to paint the red tip of the painted ink dip feather to resemble a bloody knife.
Ah!
I think you're right. Can't decide if I'm disappointed or relieved.
I have a question.
Mais ça veut dire que ce serait le meurtrier qui a positionné le sang pour faire croire que c'est un couteau?
Why?
Either it's a very strange coincidence, or somebody set it up.
Somebody deliberately put blood in the paint pot and hid that feather after the crime. Why? To distract us?
Possibly.
Well, it worked.
Possibly.
Flora's the only person who could have hidden the feather, unless someone took it from her.
Let's go over what we do know. The door was locked the whole time. It stayed locked until Fitz kicked it down. Normally, it can only be opened from the inside. Pointer said he couldn't see Freya from his telescope, but he did see Flora lying by the window.
So whatever got Freya got Flora too?
Except Flora survived. She didn't get a stab wound like Freya did.
Hold on. If there was no knife, then what did stab Freya?
It could be anything. It might not even be important.
How is it
Ah,
not
on sait toujours pas
important?
c'est quoi qui a, comment elle a
Right
été
now, I'm
pardonnée.
less interested in the what and more interested in the how.
The angle of Freya's wound suggests she was stabbed at a perfect right angle. That is, from directly in front of her. But she was standing right up by the canvas.
Somehow, Freya ended up lying on her back, still perfectly in line with a painting.
Elle a été poignardée
Maybe
par
something
au-dessus.
went through it.
Through the painting? Wouldn't that
Comme
leave
on l'a
a
vu
hole?
hier depuis le...
Okay, well,
enfin de hier.
how about this?
Au dernier
How
stream,
do we know Freya was stabbed
lorsqu'on était dans
before
le
she fell
grenier.
over? Maybe her being stabbed and her falling over are completely unrelated.
Super, mais on est bloqué à nouveau. Qu'est-ce qu'il nous reste? Il nous reste Okshaw. Donc, afin d'avoir des informations sur Okshaw, la seule chose qu'il nous faut, c'est aller voir lui. C'est lui qui l'a recruté.
Freya was well acquainted with the abstract, I'll say that much.
What does it look like to you?
To me, it's a big, red thing.
What a fascinating interpretation.
He's right, though. It is a big red thing.
A very old statue indeed. I'd recommend you leave it well alone. The poor fellow's in bad enough shape as it is. What's this? Is it a clue?
We don't actually know. But Grimoire picked it up, so now he has to pretend it is.
That's how it works.
These were drawn by Freya. She must have drawn that one of Hawkshaw rather recently.
I guess.
Une indication.
I haven't seen that tape for a long time. Who broke it?
No idea.
Ah, well, possessions are fleeting, my friends. Curious creature, isn't it? Some sort of amphibious bipedal fishman.
Playing a trumpet.
Play.
On me donne aucune indication.
I've seen those earmuffs before. They're the ones Fitz always wears when he's out the front gardening.
Always wears.
Whenever I've seen him, yes. Yes, very nice. Where is that bird of Flora's? It's been a while since I've seen it.
Qui a tué l'oiseau de Flora?
This looks a little rushed, even by Felix's standards.
At least he tried.
Yes, I suppose it's good for the old fellow to have a hobby. Keeps his mind from decaying, you know. Here's a thought. Do you suppose... After all, it was found at the scene, right?
I guess it's possible.
Non. J'y crois pas du tout.
Oh, you found a murder weapon?
Non.
Steady on. It's just a gardening trowel.
Looks like a weapon to me. Curious little thing, isn't it? Do you know what she keeps in there?
Nothing. At the moment. It was empty when we opened it.
How bizarre.
Can't a woman keep an empty egg in her room?
Pointer property originally, purloined by the fellows.
Oh, l'enfoiré qui dit ça.
Poppy's two closest friends. Freya looks so innocent there. Well now, that is most definitely none of my business. Quite possibly none of yours either.
Tellement bloqué. J'ai l'impression qu'il faut que j'arrive à trouver le doute de Hawkshaw, mais là...
Did you get anything useful out of him?
Not sure. What about you?
Nothing worth committing to paper.
I think he knows more than he lets on.
Probably. But talking with him is so tedious. Considerably intelligent, and her powers of observation are enviable. But she has no ambition. No focus.
In her defense, she's still a teenager.
Barely. I'll say this. He's well suited to physical labor.
That's a nice way to put it.
Fitz spends most of his time alone in the greenhouse. But I heard he's been breeding experimental flowers. In secret.
Whoa, scandal.
I just wonder if he's getting restless. I find her rather embarrassing. Little more than a spoiled child.
Penny must be at least 25.
27. Just makes it worse. Poppy has remarkable musical talent. She could be famous, wealthy even, if she wanted to.
She'd probably have to leave Tangle Tower first.
Quite. Does Flora still own that bird? Do you know?
Don't think so. The drawings are from a few years ago.
I see. Do you also have a pile of leaves as a clue?
Oh, not yet. Did you see some suspicious leaves?
En avez-vous observé? Oh, qu'on se fout de la gueule d'un détective, c'est incroyable.
One of 3 statues depicting the same creature. This one is wearing headphones. Perhaps they belong to someone who likes music.
They're not headphones. They're earmuffs. For blocking out sound.
Perhaps they belong to someone who doesn't like music. You got it open. I'm impressed. I managed it myself yesterday. I thought Flora might be hiding something in there.
It was empty yesterday, too?
It was. Perhaps it's always been empty.
Ok. Ok, elle avait ouvert. Ça, c'est une bonne indication.
A book from the library. One of hundreds, no doubt. What makes this one special?
It's about birds.
Yes, I see that. Some breed of amphibious humanoid. Potentially bipedal. Although none of the statues show the creature's feet.
I guess we'll never know.
Allez, un indice. J'en ai marre. On devrait parler à Fitz.
She questioned me.
About what?
My work, the plants, bit of everything.
Did she search the greenhouse?
No, she didn't.
You sure? Maybe she did it when you weren't in there.
No, she hasn't touched it.
How can you tell?
Trust me, I can tell.
Pourquoi?
Did Freya draw these?
Yeah. There's a note in the back, too.
She was even closer to Flora than I realized. It's an egg with feet.
It was locked, but we opened it. But it was empty.
Fun story. How odd. It's of no interest to me, but I overheard Poppy and Freya talking about it once.
Ah,
What were they saying?
They were arguing about something, but I can't remember the details. That looks like it might belong to Poppy.
mais je suis bloqué, hein. Faut que je parle, il manque quelque chose encore, hein.
I imagine you don't visit the astronomy tower too often, do you?
No, but I still see Pointer, sometimes. He's always curious about what I'm growing in the greenhouse. Asks me about the birds, too, and insects. He's pretty clued up on his evolutionary biology.
I didn't think there was much overlap between astronomy and biology.
Ouais. En même temps, ça c'est normal, on a vu qu'il voulait trouver le scarabée.
I like Flora. I hope she's all right.
Do you think she had anything to do with the murder?
There's no way. She wouldn't willingly cause any additional suffering for anyone.
Attends, mais je vais pas tout lui montrer.
That's quite sweet, really. I don't know what that is.
Me neither.
Me, 3. Oh, sorry. I thought you said me too.
Ah, j'adore Grimoire, c'est un personnage incroyable, je suis trop fan de lui.
Penelope knows about birds. You should ask her instead.
Actually, I wanted to ask you about something. There's a plant mentioned on this page, see?
Ah,
Do you
oui,
have
en
any?
effet.
In the greenhouse?
No, I don't grow that anymore. I've tried in the past. It's incredibly difficult, even for me. I could never get it to live more than a couple of weeks.
Peut-être mort de faim, justement parce que on n'arrivait pas à pousser cette plante, hein.
Felix made
Je
that.
vais tout montrer.
Huh. What's with the broken glass? It's Fifi and Freya.
Don't you think Poppy should be in the photo too?
Maybe, maybe not. She doesn't really like crowds.
2 people isn't a crowd.
Right, but if she was in the photo, then it'd be 3.
Checkmate. You ever seen this before, Fitz?
No, but I don't normally go into Fifi's room.
That's not where we found it.
Oh, I just thought it looks like it belongs to her. That belongs to Poppy.
So why is it up in Flora's tower?
I'm
Non,
not
hein.
sure.
J'ai l'impression que rien va déverrouiller en fait.
There's something off about this.
What is it?
Why don't you take another look at Flora's room?
You think we missed a clue up there?
Not exactly.
Quoi?
Paints are different to flowers.
I'd say so, yeah.
At any time, flowers can bloom with perfect, faultless colors. Red, blue, white.
Là, il va
With
vraiment nous
paint,
inviter à
once
aller
you've
revoir
tainted a
la
color by
résolution des
mixing it
fois.
with others, not even the most skilled painter can return it to its pure form.
What animal?
Hawk.
Right, a hawk bear lizard. I'm still not sure.
Should we take another look?
Let's come back later.
Spooky. What do you think it's for?
I think it's to scare
Is it
away.
working?
No.
Qu'est-ce qu'on est censé trouver
It's a
là?
bandstand.
It's small for
It's
it.
a one-man bandstand.
It's full of the same.
Any fish in there?
Not a single. Although there is.
It's a cassette tape.
Oh les
Or
bâtards!
it used to be.
Il y avait un indice là-dedans. Oh non, elle était trop bien cachée, jamais je l'aurais trouvé.
Weird.
It's someone humming a tune.
On a le dernier.
That's all 4 melodies, I think.
So, what do
Should we go back to the god?
Let's go. Maintenant on a tout ce qu'il faut pour l'énigme.
Let's try this again.
You know, I think we might be. That's gotta be right.
Nothing. Maybe it's broken.
Wait, do you hear that?
What the fuck?
Are we gonna go in?
Yeah, but there's a couple of things I want to do first.
Are we gonna go in?
Yeah, but there's a couple of things I want to do first.
Et il nous manque un doute et je ne sais pas comment le trouver. On va juste demander des indices. On va aller par la Fifi. On est pas mal bloqué.
This belongs to Poppy. In fact, she owns a number of cassette tapes.
What happened to it, though?
It has been left underwater for an extended period of time.
Right, but why?
I do not know why.
On la montre à Poppy, effectivement.
Freya drew these,
Yeah, I think so. There's a note on the back.
but she never showed them to me.
Well, I think it was a gift for your mother, like a private thing between Freya and Flora.
I believe Freya was attempting to communicate something through this
Je sais
painting.
pas ce que ça veut dire quand même.
Any
Qu'est-ce qu'elle
idea
tentait de
what it
communiquer
was?
avec ça?
I am not the person to ask. All I see is a blood-red mountain with angry storm clouds brewing above it. As such, I cannot ascertain any meaning from it whatsoever. Now this is interesting. Where did you find it?
In the astronomy tower.
And yet, it does not concern the field of astronomy.
Oui.
Nope.
In fact, you could even say that entomology is the exact opposite of astronomy.
Yeah, you could.
I would not say that, however.
Oh, you wouldn't?
No, it would be quite naive. To study science in any field is to study the connections between all matter in the universe,
Blah, blah, blah.
living or inanimate. Who is this her to whom the message refers?
Well, I don't know exactly.
Then how can I meaningfully evaluate this object? Next!
What's wrong?
Earmuffs do not go on statues.
Bonne remarque, merci.
This belongs to Professor Pointer, does it not?
No, I don't think so.
Well, who else would own such a pointless little telescope?
It's a telescope.
Oh yes, it has a telescopic lens. It could only be used for looking at things that are far away.
Ok, intéressant.
Is this yours, Fifi?
I do not recognize it. And besides, I would have no use for such a thing. Perhaps it could be used to hang wet laundry?
Was that a joke?
Peut-être. Non, j'y crois pas trop.
Yes. That blade.
It's a troll for gardening.
It is?
There's something about Hawkshaw. Something suspicious.
Let's ask her about it.
Super. Mais déjà, je vais parler à Poppy pour lui montrer la cassette. Et puis, ce sera la dernière chose qu'on fera avant d'aller au fond. Bon, du coup, on va dire dans la bouche qu'on a ouverte.
This is mine.
Really?
No, well, yes, it was. I gave it to Freya about a year ago.
What was on it?
Nothing. It was blank. Freya said she wanted to record something.
Any idea how it ended up underwater?
Maybe someone wanted to destroy it, but got really lazy.
Ah,